let's be honest. When you stop talking to a woman, there's a silence that says more than any argument ever could. She might laugh in public, post stories online, pretend she's unbothered, but deep down, something inside her starts to shift. Because whether she'll ever admit it or not, a woman always feels the loss of attention long before she feels the loss of love. And when you go quiet, it doesn't just confuse her, it exposes the truth she's been trying to avoid, that your presence had power. You see, men are often told that pulling back is childish or toxic, or playing games. But here's the truth most people never say out loud. Sometimes silence isn't a game, it's a test. Not of her feelings, but of her respect. Because the moment you stop reaching out, a woman's mind begins a war between ego and emotion. Her ego screams, "He's not supposed to ignore me." But her heart whispers, "Why do I miss his voice?" That's when she begins to realize something most women hate to confront. That the man she thought she had figured out is now unpredictable. And unpredictability, my friend, is the seed of attraction. It forces her to question her own control. It makes her replay every word, every look, every memory. She'll open your old messages, scroll through your photos, and analyze your silence like it's a code she needs to break. Because women crave emotional closure, but when you go silent, you take that away. What happens next? Her mind doesn't rest. It starts trying to rebuild the connection. She'll post things designed to provoke you, maybe even something meant to sting a little. She'll appear happy, independent, and untouchable. But that's the cover story. Behind it, there's confusion, curiosity, and yes, a little bit of fear. Fear that you've actually moved on. Fear that your silence isn't temporary. That's the paradox most men never understand. The moment you stop chasing her, you give her a mirror to see what she truly feels. Because silence speaks louder than words. And when a man stops talking, a woman starts listening. Tell me, have you ever gone silent and watched how quickly her energy changed? Let me know in the comments. And if this truth hit deeper than you expected, like this video, subscribe, and share it with a man who needs to hear it tonight. When you stop talking to a woman, something fascinating happens inside her psychology that even she doesn't fully understand. At first, she'll tell herself she doesn't care. She'll say things like, "He's not worth my time," or "I'm better off." But deep down, her emotions and her ego begin to collide. Because the truth is, women are wired to seek connection. When that connection suddenly vanishes, it triggers a sense of loss. And that loss doesn't feel logical, it feels emotional. You might think she's just moving on, scrolling through her phone, laughing with friends, but what's actually happening is a quiet unraveling. Every message she doesn't receive from you makes her question her own value. Every day you don't check in creates a deeper emotional contrast between what she had and what she's missing. She might start to replay the last things you said, analyzing every moment for clues. Did you seem distant? Did you sound different? She'll even read into your silence, assigning it meaning, creating stories to fill the gap your absence left behind. And this is where female psychology gets interesting, because when a woman loses your attention, she doesn't just miss you. She misses how she felt when you wanted her. The validation, the reassurance, the emotional warmth. It's addictive. So when you pull away, it's like taking oxygen from a flame. The fire doesn't die immediately. It burns hotter for a moment, then flickers, searching for air. That flicker is her emotional confusion. She starts wondering, did I do something wrong? Was I too much? Not enough? And even if she tries to mask it with confidence, her subconscious begins seeking ways to pull you back. She might suddenly text you something random, comment on your post, send a subtle story meant for your eyes only. These are all quiet attempts to re-establish emotional tension without admitting she misses you. Because for a woman, admitting she's losing control over her emotions can feel like defeat. But here's the twist most men never expect. Your silence doesn't just make her miss you, it makes her respect you. Why? Because it shows emotional discipline. It communicates that your world doesn't revolve around her approval. And in a world where most men are desperate to prove their worth, that calm indifference is rare. It unsettles her, but it also attracts her on a primal level. Have you noticed how silence can flip the power dynamic completely? When you stop talking to a woman, something shifts that most men never see because it happens behind the mask she wears for the world. She'll post pictures looking stunning, captions full of confidence, maybe even a quote about self-love or moving on. But those posts aren't for her followers. They're for you. It's her way of saying, "I'm fine without you," while secretly hoping you're still watching. Because when a woman feels your absence, her instinct isn't always to cry, it's to perform. You see, women are emotionally intelligent, but that intelligence often becomes emotional theater when they're hurt. She'll start a subtle game, projecting strength while quietly craving validation. Every story she uploads, every accidental selfie, every night out she documents. It's not random, it's an emotional signal. She's trying to measure your reaction without having to reach out first. Will you like it? Will you view it? Will you break the silence? But here's where it gets deep. When you don't respond, she begins to feel something powerful, vulnerability. And vulnerability, in a woman who's used to having control, creates emotional panic. Her mind starts spinning. Why isn't he chasing me? Has he replaced me? Did he stop caring completely? The same woman who once thought she had endless options starts realizing that your attention was a privilege, not a guarantee. That's when the reflection begins. She starts to remember your value, not because you reminded her, but because your absence forces her to. She replays how you made her laugh, how your presence felt steady, how your voice grounded her when the world felt loud. That's when your silence stops being just silence. It becomes gravity, and she can feel its pull. Men often underestimate this. They think walking away means losing power, but the opposite is true. Emotional distance, when used with maturity and self-respect, creates curiosity, and curiosity is what reawakens attraction. It's not your words pull her back, it's her wondering what you're thinking, what you're doing, who you've become without her. So when you stop talking, don't break that silence too soon. Let her sit in the quiet. Let her mind wander, because it's in the silence that she'll realize who truly mattered. Have you ever seen a woman act like she didn't care, only to come back once you went cold? Tell me in the comments. And if this truth hit home, like, subscribe, and share this with the man who needs to remember, silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. There's a point in your silence where something begins to break inside her, but it's not her heart, it's her illusion of control. You see, for many women, connection is a form of reassurance. As long as she knows you're still reaching out, still available, still emotionally present, she feels safe. But when you stop talking, that reassurance collapses. And for the first time, she's forced to sit with uncertainty. That's when the truth hits her. Maybe she was never the one holding the power at all. At first she'll rationalize it. She'll tell herself you're just playing games, that you'll text soon, that you can't stay away forever. But as the hours turn to days, and the days stretch into silence, that confidence fades into discomfort. She'll start noticing how empty it feels, not hearing from you. The dopamine rush she used to get from your attention starts to fade, and that's when emotional withdrawal begins. It's not just missing you, it's missing what she felt around you. Safety, validation, significance. And when those feelings vanish, she starts craving them like air. That's when she begins to test you in small ways. She might like one of your old posts out of nowhere. Maybe she sends a random "hey" after weeks of silence. It's her emotional radar checking to see if you'll bite. She's not just reaching out, she's measuring if she still has influence over you. But if you've grown, if you've learned to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them, you won't rush to respond. Because men who understand emotional power know this. Silence is not punishment, it's a boundary. By holding your ground, you teach her something her ego never wanted her to learn, that your attention must be earned, not expected. And once she realizes that, her attraction starts to transform. It's no longer about winning, it's about wanting. She starts wondering, did I lose him for good? And that thought alone begins to change her behavior. You see, a woman doesn't truly respect a man she can easily predict. Respect is born in the moments she doesn't know where she stands with you. That uncertainty, though uncomfortable, reignites something deeper than attraction. It builds value. Because in her mind, the man she can't control becomes the man she can't forget. Have you ever seen a woman suddenly respect you more once you stop chasing her? There comes a moment, usually when she least expects it, when the silence starts to haunt her. It's late at night, the noise of the day has faded, and for the first time in weeks, there's no distraction left. That's when her mind drifts to you. Not the version she pretended to forget, but the one she actually felt. The man who once made her feel seen, safe, and understood. And suddenly, all the little games, all the pride, all the pretending, it stops feeling empowering. It starts feeling empty. That's the stage where she begins to wrestle with the truth. Your absence has more weight than her presence ever had. She'll scroll through her messages, maybe even type one out, but she won't send it because she's terrified you've moved on. She might check who you're following, who's commenting on your posts, trying to decode your silence like it's a secret language. Because in a world where women are used to attention being constant, a man's quiet confidence feels almost mystical. You see, what breaks her isn't your absence, it's your calm, because calm means control, and control means power. While she's overthinking, you're rebuilding. You're not chasing, you're improving. You're not begging for closure, you're becoming the kind of man who doesn't need it. And that transformation, even if she can't see it directly, she feels it. Women are intuitive creatures. They can sense when a man's energy shifts from desperate to detached, from waiting to walking forward. And that shift changes everything. Suddenly, she's the one with the questions. She starts wondering if she misjudged your worth, if she confused your kindness for weakness, if she mistook your attention for dependence. That doubt grows inside her, quietly but powerfully, and before long, the same woman who once pulled away starts craving the very thing she pushed aside. But here's the part most men need to hear. Silence isn't just about making her miss you, it's about finding yourself again. Because when you stop chasing what's fading, you create space for something stronger to rise. Your peace, your focus, your purpose, and that energy, calm-centered masculine energy, is what truly attracts her back, not your words or your effort. So if you're in that silence right now, don't break it. Build in it. Let her feel the difference between a man who wants her and a man who no longer needs her. There's a strange kind of peace that comes when you stop talking to her, and not the fake kind, not the one you pretend to feel just to look strong, but the real one that creeps in quietly when you realize you've stopped waiting for her reply. It's that moment when your phone buzzes and for the first time, you don't care if it's her. That's when you know you've shifted from reaction to control. You've taken your power back, and trust me, she feels it, whether she ever admits it or not. Because women can sense energy long before they see action. When your attention detaches, when your focus moves from her to you, something inside her starts to ache. It's not just missing you, it's realizing she no longer has access to your world. The conversations that once fed her ego, the warmth that used to comfort her, the validation she took for granted, it's gone. And now she's the one wondering where you went, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. She might test you again. A random text, a memory dropped into your DMS, a soft, "Hey stranger." It won't come from her heart, it'll come from her curiosity. She wants to know if you still orbit around her. But if you've grown, if you've used your silence to rise instead of retreat, you won't chase that bait. You'll respond like a man who has learned that peace is more valuable than attention. And here's what happens next. Your silence evolves into confidence, and that confidence becomes attraction. Because deep down, women respect men who can walk away with dignity. It tells her you're not controlled by fear or lust or the need to be validated. You're controlled by purpose. That's the rarest kind of strength. And once a woman sees it, she can't unsee it. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe she won't. But either way, you win, because you've learned the hardest lesson most men never do. Your silence isn't about getting her back. It's about getting yourself back. The man who values his peace, his time, his focus becomes unstoppable, not because women chase him, but because he finally stopped chasing approval. So ask yourself this: when you stop talking to her, are you doing it to punish her or to find yourself again? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments. And if this message hit your soul tonight, like the video, subscribe, and share it with a brother who needs to remember: silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom.